Hey, good morning, everyone. It's day 14 of Tapping on Doubt. And Ruth, this is a really good topic. Tapping for doubting that good can ever really happen for us. And I always feel like the origin of this, of course, it always starts in childhood, where what I often tell people is usually we've had this peak emotional high experience, followed by a peak emotional low. And I'll share a story here. I had a client that I worked with who every time she launched a new program, she would just go into total terror, and she always had the disbelief that it was going to go well. And as we were tapping, what got uncovered was that, long and short of it, she had one of the best summers of her life. She had one of the best summers of her life. And she was like on this peak high, like everything was going really well. She was doing really good. And then her family came, her mother and her siblings came to pick her up. And the night that she got back home, her father was murdered. And why? That's obviously a very extreme example, and it doesn't have to be that extreme for this setup to be linked in the brain. But the idea is, if you think back to times in your life when you had a peak emotional high experience followed by a peak emotional low, that often is tied up to this idea that good things can't happen to us. And actually, we will inhibit good things happening to us. We'll unconsciously sabotage good things, because the idea that if good things happen, oh shit, something horrible is going to happen, or just something bad. And somebody's here, I can't see who you are, but welcome, whoever you are. So that's something to pay attention to. If you want to unhook from the belief that good things can never happen, float back to different times in your life where really good things were happening, and then all of a sudden, bam, something really bad happened. Or again, it doesn't have to be as extreme as the example I gave, but it could be this slow chipping away of the belief that good things can happen. It can be when, say you played t-ball and you hit the, oh, hey, Jean. Oh, awesome. Always glad you say who it is, because then I know who's here. So you say you hit t-ball and you got a home run, and you come home and you tell your parents, hey, I got it. And they're like, oh, stop bragging. It can literally be as innocuous as that. So just pay attention to where in your life did you have really good experiences followed almost immediately by something bad, because that is a huge setup for good things can't happen to me, because unconsciously it's scary. We truly want, and at least in a conscious level, like, I want good things to happen to me, but then we'll sabotage it all the time if the unconscious is like, that's dangerous. So when good things start to happen, the brain goes, danger, 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 danger. Hey, Cameron. So really pay attention to that, and drift back, float back to different times in your life where really good things were followed immediately by bad things. And then just tap on that. So karate chop. We'll just go to the tapping. Happy you're here, Cameron. You too, Jean. Even though I'm totally convinced good things can't happen to me, I choose to acknowledge I feel this way. Even though unconsciously I'm terrified of good things happening. Because back in my past, when good things started to happen, bad things followed. So I'll pass on the good things happening, because that kind of feels dangerous. Even though a long time ago, my brain linked up when good things happen, that's followed pretty quickly by shit hitting the fan. So I'll just flatline through life. I'm going to stay within the parentheses I've put around my life. Not too high, not too low. Or I'll just let the shit just keep hitting the fan. Because that's safest for me. And I don't think I could handle that devastating blow again. So I'm just going to keep it real here. And let mediocre feel safest to me. And go to the eyebrow. I can really get down on myself. Really judge myself. I look at people around me who have great things happening to them. Not me. As long and as hard as I've worked on myself, I just never quite get there. And then I judge myself for that. And I often find myself wanting. Why do they get the things they want? And I don't. I really want things in my life to be better. But what if somewhere a long time ago I had an experience or enough experiences that let me know good things happening, that's not safe. And what if I could stop judging myself for this? That's how my brain got wired a really long time ago. So right now I'm hardwired to not let it get too good. Because that's too dangerous for me. And what if I could stop judging myself for that? Because consciously, I want my life to get better. I really do. But on an unconscious level, it is not safe. So what if I can start to unhook from this belief? Even just that much. Because that's a beginning. What if I can learn that that was then and this is now? And I can start to rewire my brain and beliefs. Ease into it if I need to. And remind myself that I can learn to feel safe while allowing good things to happen to me. And what if bad things no longer have to follow really good things happening? And if I can rewire that, unhook from the belief that it's not safe to allow good things to happen, because bad things will surely follow, then before I know it, I'm starting to notice that I'm sniffing out the trail of goodness. I'm learning to allow myself to experience more goodness in my life without bad things following. And if I get scared because things are starting to get too good, I can remain conscious of that and just keep tapping so that I'm starting to recalibrate myself to an amazing new normal where I'm allowing good things to come into my life and stick around, and bad things aren't following it. God, I love this idea. And I love the idea of releasing self-judgment, because I would have changed this sooner if I could have. I just couldn't. So good things can start happening to me. And when fear that bad things will follow comes up, now I get it. Now I can start to unhook from that. And step by step, belief by belief, I'm sniffing out the trail of goodness. And before I know it, I'm allowing more and more good into my life and feel safe while it's happening. And I can create a life I love, one thought at a time. And then take a breath. So it's funny, when we were doing that, I had something pop up, and it's funny, I've tapped on it before, but in a new way. My father had this old English sports car, if I could talk, that would help, car called a Morgan +4. It's a really cool English sports car. It was a convertible, and it was like his baby. He would drive around it, and he was a fighter pilot, and he was just like, ooh. And I remember when he picked me up one day from school, he had just gotten a raise and a promotion. And then we were in the car, and it threw a rod, back when there was such a thing. And I'll never forget, my father said, "The Lord giveth, and the Lord taketh away." And just now, I've tapped on that before, but somehow this is a new aspect. So it's that setup of this good thing happens, but then a bad thing has to follow it. And I remember distinctly, my father was on such a high, because he was like, oh, I got a raise, and oh, I got a promotion. And the car threw a rod, and he immediately said, basically, God is not letting it get too good for me. So the Lord giveth, the Lord taketh away. So really look for patterns in your life like that, like the pattern I told you about the gal, best summer of her life, and she's high as a kite, goes home and her father gets murdered. It doesn't have to be that extreme. It can be the example I gave about my own father. So look for those patterns, because to me, and I find this in myself with clients, when we're not allowing more good in our life, we're hitting that upper limit that Gail Hendricks talks about, and yet the brain is wired that somehow it starts to get good, and oh shit, something bad's gonna happen. And when the brain's wired that way, you will unconsciously self-sabotage all the time, and then you can tap on taking the judgment, because that's the other piece. We judge the hell out of ourselves for that, but the brain's wired to keep you safe. So it's like, if you have a belief in any way that when good starts coming, oh shit, something bad's going to happen, just look for those patterns, tap through those. And again, this is so important to start anchoring in and noticing those little wins. Even if you're like, oh God, I sabotaged myself again. But say you caught it sooner. Anchor that in. To me, this is such a vitally important part with tapping too, is afterwards go, well, okay, I still went down the rabbit hole, but I caught it sooner. Okay, I did it, but I was more aware than I've ever been. Okay, I caught it that much sooner, because that's going to help you shift too, is to just keep anchoring in the little win, anchoring in the little win. Yeah, I still messed up, but that's okay. I caught it sooner. Otherwise, it's like, oh, we just get down, or, oh, I did it again. And, the beating starts. So that's another way to just, okay, I caught it. Oh, I'm recalibrating. I caught it. I caught it again. I caught it again. I caught it again. And each time you catch it, make it a win. 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 I cannot speak highly enough about that combination. Tapping to release the, whatever that means. Tapping to release the, that's an interesting thing. Tapping to release the blocks, and then anchoring in those little tiny wins. So Cameron, so glad you were here. Always love to see your name. Jean, so glad you're here. Love to see your name too. Hope you found this helpful. And then we finished week 2. Wow, 14 days into it. 1 more week left. And then I'm going to have a new thing for everybody at the end of this 21 days. So stay tuned and have a great rest of your day. Bye for now.